Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review episode number 89. This I'm reviewing the 110th episode of the series, which is called Sad Man's Parade, and the 326th chapter of the manga. Now, you might be asking, Nick, don't you usually do these reviews on Sunday? Yes, I normally do, but because of the fact I was delayed due to being out of town and the fact I had zero time to do this now. The last time I was out of town, I did have time to do this review on Sunday. This time, nope, did not have time to do it. At all. But now I'm doing it. Now, this episode does start from chapters 129 to 130. Actually, it's 229 to 230. 231, it pretty much finishes up that chapter after, I think it was back in episode 102, that they had the pages 2 through 5. And this episode pretty much stops the rest of that chapter. And also stops pretty much the entirety of chapter 232. With this episode, there's technically 8 chapters left to go for the villain's arc for the adapted for the anime. And from what I can tell from the recent episode here in Japan, they pretty much got the final chapter, but didn't fully adapt the chapter. So it looks like though the last couple episodes probably starting the villains, the Paramount, they probably do a build up to a particular war. That's my personal guess what's going to go on for those final 2 episodes. This episode does pick up where we left off last week, where Twice is surrounded by a bunch of duplicates of his. He always trying to have Toga, and we do see that the duplicates, which are not his doubles. Nope, these are created by the character Skeptic. And pretty much what these guys did, they pretty much pick up Toga, rip off her collar that she's known for wearing, and they tried breaking her neck. But like of Twice, who apparently decided to have love and friendship, basically just help him out, he overcame his trauma. And able to use his quirk for the first time in the anime. Well, in present day, of course, they show it in flashback. And they also cut to a flashback that takes place, well, just prior to him going nuts and just afterwards. It kind of fills a little gap for him. Where it starts out with him when he was younger, where he accidentally hit a guy with his motorcycle, breaking the guy's arm. He regrets doing it. He did not. He wasn't charged for it at all. It was a complete accident. It was technically not his fault. It was the guy who just jumped out right in front of his motorcycle. And then when he gets back to work, the people who he worked for fires him because the guy who he hit is one of their top clients. The guys who hired them, this is one of their top clients, and they were not happy. So the boss decided to fire him for daring to accidentally hit one of them. Even though it wasn't his fault, he got fired. So, and they also revealed that his parents have died, were killed by a villain attack. Don't know what the villain attack was. That this has never been shown. Unlike in the case what happened with the best friend of Eraserhead and President Mike, which that has been explored in the Vigilante manga. But this one, nope. This one has never been explored. Like, what villain attack killed him? No idea. So he wanders about, and then he goes on a little crime spree with his doubles, thanks to his new ability. Then later on, they show the aftermath of him killing all of his doubles in a very bloody way, which that was mentioned previously. I believe was back, I think it was like in season 3, I think it was, where they mentioned what happened here. And this pretty much is a flashback, just fills that little gap prior to that particular thing, and then we have what happens next, like right after the massacre happened, where just afterwards he go visit the broker, which they're going to try to save in this particular arc, where he meets him wearing a bag over his head because there's a reason for it. If he shows his face, his duplicates come out. So he wears a mask to protect himself. Well, the bag anyways. And of course the guy hires him, pretty much recommends him to join the League of Villains, which he does. We come back to present day, where he has overcome his trauma and unleashes a humongous army of Twices. Like, referred to as a Sad Man's Parade. There must be thousands of him at this point. Like, damn. So, They save Toga. They beat the crap out of a bunch of Meta Liberation Army individuals. There was a guy who Dabi was fighting, and they said leave him alone because he's going to be Gecko Machia's opponent. Which the doctor wakes him up. Apparently he was sleeping underground for some reason. I don't know why. So it looks like he wakes him up early and sends him out running. Meanwhile, though, Twice has met up with Spinner, Mr. Compress, and Shigaraki. Met up with them and got Shigaraki straight to the actual tower itself. Where it's like, because he's like getting very tired, then he didn't give him to, and we have Twice where he's already broken into the tower. Well, one of his duplicates, because the original one is with Toga. Oh, and by the way, Skeptic has left the room at this point, and I am loving what Sonny Sarai is doing with Redestro. I mean, normally Sonny Sarai usually plays characters for comic relief, and usually his characters are quite hilarious and entertaining. Redestro is a super serious character, and probably by far, of all of the characters I've ever heard that Sonny Sarai has ever voiced, I've never heard one basically where he's got this serious amount of dialogue. Because if anybody's ever heard Sonny Sarai, he's usually, a lot of the time, the very cowardly character, a very loud, somewhat loud character, but not someone who's super serious. And this has been unusual for him. I think that so far in the episodes he's appeared as Redestro, he's done an absolute really good job. I at least appreciate him for doing that. So, and it turns out, though, they kind of explain a little bit about Redestro's backstory, where it's mentioned that his mother came up with the term quirks for the power that the superheroes and supervillains use. It was his mother's thing, where his mother wanted to create a society where metahumans are actually accepted. Everyone kept saying no. And then after apparently her death, some politicians dug up her appeal and decided to make that a law. Excuse me, somewhat restrictive, but still led to the rise of superheroes and vigilantes. This kind of does explain about the original Destro's like how he basically got the way he is. That does kind of explain it. So apparently, that I'm not sure how far back this is, because they mentioned that Redestro is his descendant, not the son of Destro. He is his descendant. It could be that he's his grandson. That's distinctly possible. But who knows? Then pretty much we have this long epic battle where you have Shigaraki taking on Redestro. And we saw Redestro's form, where he apparently performed like some kind of mass with his face, just like his ancestor did, and he can basically form his arms be humongous. And during the course of the battle, part of the building is destroyed, but Todoroki decided to touch the building with one of his hands and disintegrate it. They show us in the flashback it's what he did. And he tells Twice, hey, Twice, create a cushion. And of course, Twice, when he's checking on the broker, he confirms that his fingers were in fact removed from one of his hands, and the hand removed from is his smoking hand. And it's pointed out about him, despite being supervillain, does not mean they don't care about people. They care about their own comrades. No, he doesn't kill his. He doesn't let anybody kill his comrades. Now, I'm not sure how Todoroki feels about that, or Dabi, but he does feel very strongly about that. And of course, the building collapses. Big tower that they've been fighting in throughout this episode, and the episode ends with Redestro saying, "So, you missed my question." And that's the episode. This episode was really good, thoroughly enjoyable, and we're going to be pretty close to wrapping up this particular arc. I'd say it'll probably wrap up in just a couple episodes, but the season itself will last for about 4 more. Yep, 4 episodes to go, and the season will wrap up. Now moving on to the newest chapter in the manga, which is called Chapter 326, Who Are You Really? Chapter starts off with All Might driving in, Hercules, his car, where he's trying to find Deku because he ran off, and he comes across Deku's like mouth guard that he had that was knocked off, and he comes to the place that a few chapters back where Deku was fighting the supervillain dictator who was brainwashing people. And of course, he sees that his statue that was made just after his retirement, where it says "I am not here." And of course, he's like, at this point, you're getting away. And then Stain the Hero Killer shows up. Yes, Stain the Hero Killer. Like, the guy's been frequently mentioned since this arc, but wow. Like, how long has it been since you've seen Stain the Hero Killer? Like, it feels like it's been a long time since he's been seen in the series. And according to All Might, which this is definitely true, he never actually fought Stain the Hero Killer. No, he never did. I mean, the last time he was officially seen was back in chapter 59 of the manga. Yeah, that's when he was finally defeated. But in the case of the anime, it was back in episode 33. That was back in season 2. Like, wow. It is quite something. The fact that we bring back Stain the Hero Killer. First time since his own story arc. Yeah, I wonder how Toga feels about the fact he's apparently not only out of jail, apparently just he got out of his coma that he's been in. Like, I would probably say it's been several years since he was last seen in the series. Like, the finale for the manga happened in 2015. In the case of the anime, it was about 2 years ago. Yeah, it was roughly 2 years ago when they pretty much, well, actually in Japan it was actually 4 years ago, but US was actually 2 years ago. So it's been 4 years anime-wise since he's been seen. In the manga, it's been frickin' 6. 6 years. Great to see the guy. He's a really interesting character, Stain the Hero Killer. And he tells him to take it back and says, Hero Killer Stain, you never crossed my path when I was doing the job. I mean, face-to-face we got delayed, but I never met me like this. And he's like, explain yourself. Sure, you missed a lot while you were locked up. You see, I am All Might in the flesh. And he's like, wrong and All Might. And he goes muscle form. And he coughs out, so, can I kill me or no? You know, All Might, you're a sham. And of course he uses his broken sword that he's had since that particular arc. And he says, here upon this holy ground, you falsely claim the magnitude of hero. Who are you really? Why do you presume to call yourself a hero? Speak. False claim. Fair enough. My whole life I've spurned action. And they show a flashback of basically when he first started out as a hero. It says he ran his course. And had a bad result. And his tank just charges right at him. And then we see that apparently that somebody is using a quirk. Where apparently like this, they apparently got transported. Actually got moved. Hiding on a rock, and then we see a woman with a quirk just watch up and just fix a sign that says, I am not here. Actually, she just takes off the sign. And the person, according to All Might, is the last person he saved. That was back when he retired in the Hideout Raid arc, which, that is something. He, of course, is shocked to see her. And we see, like, a brief image of, well, all the heroes, like, seeing all of them, all the kids from Class 1A. And she says, do my best. You two okay? And, of course, then we have Stain just walking away and just tosses his knife on the ground. And it says this before he leaves. Then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes for the sake of fixing society. Oh. And the woman says, oh, the rain started letting up. and we see All Might crying too. I gotta say, damn good chapter. Like, the best highlight of this chapter is Return of Stain, the Hero Killer, who, like I said, has been in coma since chapter 59 in the manga, and of course in the anime was chapter 33 when he got knocked into coma. But yeah, it's great to see him, and this is a great chapter. And I do like the fact they actually mentioned the fact that All Might never been this is the first time he's ever crossed paths with him, because he was so technically active when Stain the Hero Killer was doing all his killing spree. It was his students, along with Endeavor, took him down, which I think is great. Yep. Nothing bad about this chapter. Really good. In the case of the anime, well, they did make one minor change that's quite noticeable in the anime. I forgot to mention that when Twice came with the elevator, I was actually in the elevator with him when he came out. In the anime, there's like nobody there. My guess is they probably cut it because it probably was necessary, but time will tell. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't think anybody's going to notice it at all. Not really. Unless you read the manga, you probably wouldn't have noticed there was somebody there. Okay, so that's episode review. I would have time to do one more video, but I gotta go soon. I'll probably do another video when I get back. I'm going to Wiregrass to do some shopping. I'll be home. Yep, and definitely today, because I have no other things going on today, I will do a whole bunch of anime. Basically, this is the first of 7 anime I gotta do today. Yes, 7. Of course, I'm also going to do a series of comic corners today, too. But next anime I'm going to work on is going to be One Piece. Yep, One Piece. Okay, next video. Bye.